Good. So welcome everyone. So lovely to, let me just pin us here, pin us to the front. There we go. Good. So welcome everyone. So lovely to have you here. Xanthe and I. Yes, morning. So I don't know how your morning's been, but because of load shedding, I came to Xanthe's house. So we could be together and have power and do this with you guys. There's a lot of information we want to get through. There's a lot that we want to share with you. And we're going to try and keep it as simple and as to the point as possible. And we also really welcome questions. So please, any questions you've had, put them in the chat and you can always, we'll get to them at some point during the thing. So this is my dear friend Xanthe, who I have known for over 14 years, well, about 14 years. I was there, I supported her through her pregnancy, and I was there when her daughter was born, who is going to be 15 in May next year. So I've known her a long time, and so I'm just still letting people in. And yeah, and then Xanthe joined with the oils a couple of years ago. Yep. And that's it. And here we are.
Yeah.
So
hi.
So tell us more about you.
Okay. So first of all, happy Heritage Day for those of you who are here. And yeah, Thea and I have done a long journey together, and I actually, thinking about heritage, it was quite ironic that it landed on today, because I reflected back on heritage and roots and what's important. And it's such an important topic for me, because my roots come from 8 months old, when I had an interception and a twisted colon. I had 5% chance of living, and my mother and homeopathy got me through. But my story going forward is that my health is determined by my environment, my toxic load, what I eat, what I don't, how I am, what I choose to bring in. And I don't always get it right. We're not perfect.
Exactly.
And it's learning all the time, but it is an integral part of my heritage and what I want to pass on. So yeah, it's a very it's a loaded topic, but it's an exciting topic, and we're learning and we're doing things, and we've got lots to share. So yeah, and Thea's been integral to my journey with the oils, but my babies and lots of things. Just awareness, I think, has been a big relationship joiner, connector.
Yes. So for those who don't know me, some of you are new here, some of you may know me. So I'm Theoni, and I support women through transformation. So usually pregnancy, birth, motherhood, menopause, all of those stages of our lives. And I do lots of things. So I run courses, I work with people one-on-one, so many things that I do, which if you want to know more, you can contact me. How my journey started with, as far as toxins go, is that when I had my son, who's going to be 15 on Monday. When I had him, I remember my midwife saying, "So what are you washing your clothes with?" I said, "I'm washing my clothes with," we're not allowed to say brands in here, whatever brand was at the shops. That's what I was using. She was like, "Well, kids are sensitive and their skins are really sensitive. The skin is the biggest organ. Like we are one big mouth." And when we think of ourselves like that, we go, "Oh, it's not just this mouth. It's actually our whole body is a big mouth." And she said, "If you're leaning him on your shirt, what have you washed it with?" And I was like, "Oh, gosh, okay." And 15 years ago, it's not what it is like now. I mean, there's more awareness, there's more happening. And so I started looking at, oh my word, what am I washing the clothes with? And what am I doing this with? And I stopped using Stay Soft, I think, round about then. I shouldn't have said Stay Soft. Oh, well.
A brand.
Oops. Anyway, we're not perfect. You know what the opposite of perfect is? Anyone have any ideas? The opposite of perfect is human. Okay, we're all human. Okay, so good. So I stopped using those kinds of things. And then when I got involved with the oils, which we'll get to just now, and we always talk about, we must put the oils on the soles of the feet because the pores are big on the soles of the feet, so they absorb beautifully. And I thought, oh my word, and if my child's running around, what am I putting on the floor? and then they're running around and their feet are getting whatever's on the floor, and that's going into their systems. So that's really where my awareness comes from. And I think today that's one of the things we would love to share with you guys, if you can go away with, is awareness, to just start becoming aware of what is in your environment.
Because I think going back to just how I came into the world, I think what I've carried through my life story and what I've chosen to do. So I'm also a trained Montessori teacher. I'm also in the final stages of becoming a lifeline lay counselor. And I think all of these things is our environment, and I saw things and behavioral and moods and all of those things. And it's always been a big question for me as to how we are impacted by the things that we're eating, putting in our body. And I came into the world slightly compromised. So what stresses my system out may not stress your system out, but it's how do we learn what the accumulative stresses are and how do we reduce all those things so that we see changes in our behavior, so that because it affects our mood, our behavior, our skin, our overall being, right? So that's it. For me, it's a big picture, but we're trying to today just simplify it and really bring home to the fact that this is incremental changes. So we want you to leave feeling curious, feeling like you can ask questions, feeling like you walk into your surroundings, go, how does this feel? Does it feel good? Doesn't it feel good? Why doesn't it feel good? So we just want you to feel like you have a choice. Okay. So we want to make sure that you know that this is the simple part, is that we have simple choices. That are accessible, that are easy to use. It's not complicated. And then we have the oil choice. So we've got two different things.
So it's for everyone. So when we talk about accumulation, I'll find the study and we'll put it in our little cheat sheet, because we always make a little cheat sheet. In that accumulation, I was talking about the study. So the study is that apparently before we leave the house as women, because women use a lot more stuff than men, we walk out of the house having been in contact with over 400 different chemicals, components, whatever. And that is a lot. So if you had to walk through your day, you realize, oh yeah, we smelled that and we touched that, and what did we put on our skin and what did we eat? And so it's a lot. And so when we think of accumulation, I always see it as like the bath. If you fill the bath too much, it's got like a little overflow thing that the water will seep out. And our overflow thing is when we get sick. So our body, our body goes, oh, we've got brain fog. Oh, we've got eczema. Oh, we've got, all of those headaches, we're irritable. All of those things that we get from, there's just too many toxins and stresses.
So it's fine when we look at individuals, right? So a little bit of this, a little bit of the chemicals from certain solutions we're using, or chemicals in our makeup, or chemicals in our food, and we'll go through the house just now, just to kind of simplify it. If you take it individually, incrementally, it's not such a big load. But we have to remember that these are just these stresses that negatively impact us are accumulating all the time.
Absolutely.
And we can reverse these. That's what's so beautiful, is that we don't have to accept the fact that our bodies are taking it all in, and we can't actually change that within ourselves and our children. And I think part of what I'm so passionate about is that we really always talk about what do we want to pass on? What do we want to pass on to our children? It's a big responsibility. We have many as mothers and fathers and families and whatever, but it's a value system that we want to live by. And we want to start we're growing up differently. Our children are growing up differently to what we did, right? Absolutely. So we need to pass on different choices to our children, different awareness, different curiosities. And I believe, and we believe, and that's why we're sitting here, is that we can do it in our house. It starts in our house. What do we bring into our house is what we bring into our bodies. And then how do we change?
Absolutely.
How do we look at those stresses? So, so do you want to start with Big thing, small steps, 1 degree change. We don't need to take big steps. It doesn't need to be overwhelming. It doesn't need to be scary.
Yes.
Because I think we are being also bombarded
by information all day.
And if we don't do all of it, it's useless and it doesn't have an impact. And that's totally untrue.
Yeah.
We can change little things at a time that have greater impact over time.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I go by the 80-20-20 rule in my house.
Okay, so tell us more about that for those who don't know.
80% of the time, we try and choose the healthiest, and I'm still learning, my goodness, the healthiest choices. And we'll go through all our rooms, but and 20% of the time, we're not going to get it right. So let's just take for me and children, for instance, the sugar.
Yeah.
Okay. And sugar, hidden sugars, processed sugars are chemicals. That's a massive toxic load. It's a massive stressor in our bodies, no matter how we want to package it.
Or sugar-coated.
Or sugar-coated. 80% of the time, I try and have as little in my house. And I try to reduce that toxic load on our systems in our house. But 20%, they're going to go out there, they're going to have a party, and they're going to have it. But then their bodies are able to manage it. And they're able to say, that didn't feel so nice, because their bodies are quite clean.
Yeah.
So it has a greater impact on how they're feeling. So I stick with that 80-20 because it takes that emotional burden off me as well, because we can't police, we can't constantly run. And as it's easier, and I did that when my children were young, was that I was able to enforce more.
And also you just don't have stuff in the house that you don't want them to have.
Yeah, and it's much easier. You go to a party and you can sort of steer them away and whatever.
Yes.
But as a teenager, you absolutely can't.
No, absolutely not.
But they are very quick to say, okay, that did not help my tummy, even if they don't want to.
Exactly.
So yeah, so that for me is really important. So as we go on into the conversation, just bear that in mind. This is not about eliminating, because we can't. I don't think that's a tough one to totally eliminate everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So do you want to start? Should we start sort of looking at? We wanted to look at the house, and start in the kitchen, which is a biggie.
And I think in the kitchen, that's where the food comes in, that's where the food is prepared, etc. So we want to have a clean place.
Yeah.
So, part of it being clean is to use, I think we've got to talk about the oils first before we go into the rooms.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Our choices.
So let's talk about choices. So part of the talk today is to bring in the doTERRA oils. So doTERRA oils are essential oils. So for those that are new here, not all essential oils are the same. And doTERRA about 15 years ago took it upon themselves to decide to make, to test their oils so that we knew how pure are they, where are they sourced, how do we do it, So on the bottle at the bottom of every bottle, there's a lovely, can't really see it here, but there's a number. I think that's a very well used bottle.
Yes,
the lemon.
Yeah.
So there's a number at the bottom, and you can go to a website called sourcedtoyou.com and check out exactly what is in that bottle. So if we take lemon, for example, because we're going to talk about lemon a lot. And the reason why we're going to talk about lemon a lot is because think of all the products, and I'm not going to be more mindful and aware that there's a lot of products out on the market in the shops that contain lemon. Yeah. Or something like lemon.
Or the smell of a lemon.
Or the smell of a lemon. Not that it's real lemon, but it's lemon. And the reason being is lemon has got limonene in it, which is great for detoxing. So if you are going to use essential oils that we haven't been tested and we don't know how much limonene is in it, and it's not the best quality, you are actually again putting more toxins in your body. So you're actually adding to the toxic load instead of getting rid of it. So for those who do have oils, we'd love to know which essential oils you like to use in your water, because if you can just put it in the chat, because that is one of the ways that we can reduce our toxic load is actually by using lemon in our water. We can use a whole lot of other oils as well, but lemon is kind of from the top 10. The top 10, you'll hear us talking a lot about the top 10 because that's how we like people to start. because you want to start with the top 10 oils as your foundation of what you can do. So we'd love to hear in the chat.
And I think just as you were saying it, it kind of reminds me, like when I just said we can reverse toxic load,
yes.
right? So let's just understand that we will have toxic load.
Yes.
Okay, that's what it is. But how and what are we using?
Yes.
And kitchen is where this is where we feed our bodies.
Yes.
Where do we start with reducing that and being mindful of that process? So water in our morning water,
yes,
with our lemon. And yes, you can squeeze a lemon in your water, that we've been doing for years, but it actually is a little counteractive in what it's doing to our oral health because of the acidity. So as much as we thought that was great, that's why the oil has been a game changer, because it's actually helping our the stresses, the toxics in our body to be flushed.
Yeah.
So that's a good start.
And for me, I love that I don't have to like pick out the pips and where's the lemon coming from and blah blah blah. Whereas now we know it's good stuff. Okay, so what have people said here? Let's just have a check. Grapefruit at the moment, lemon, yes, definitely. Fennel, haven't tried that. Wild orange, tangerine, spearmint, cinnamon, cassia, separately, of course. Yes, I get that. Citrus, spearmint, and thyme. Sure, thyme's quite a hot oil though. And rosemary. Wow, that sounds amazing. Lovely.
And also the diversity of what we can use the oils for.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So we have, when we send out our cheat sheet, you'll see, and we said we're going to make this, it must be accessible for everybody. So we've got the options of the bicarb, the lemon, you can squeeze a lemon and vinegar. So that is absolutely a swap. That is, it's not expensive. You can do it. It's effective. But if you go the next step of using a doTERRA lemon, you're using the doTERRA lemon in your water, and you can now use it in your spray bottle with your bicarb.
To clean your windows. I mean, I have mastered for the last 3 years, all I clean my windows with is vinegar, water, and lemon.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah.
And works beautifully, and there's no toxins.
Yeah.
So it's great.
So we're using it in a multi-faceted way.
And that's why I love the oils.
Yeah.
Because they are multi-purposeful.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just, oh, we can only use it for that. Or we can only use it for this. No, we can actually use it for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to the kitchen, and where I'm passionate, going back to my story, is what are we bringing awareness to? We're bringing awareness to the fridge, and ingredients, and labels. This is a slight obsession of mine. So I spend more time reading labels in a shop than I do buying the actual stuff. And I bought something the other day that for lunchboxes, and I was like super happy, super quick. And then I thought something was just like, I think you must read. So I read the label and was just devastated. So, because it's just all for shelf life. If you can't say it, if you can't say the name that's in the ingredient, it generally, and I'm not a medic, so there are things that have got medical or whatever, pharmaceutical, scientific names, but generally speaking, especially if you've got young children in their formative foundation years, label reading is crucial, because we have hidden things for shelf life. And that is a toxic load stressor deluxe. So you're looking for the hidden sugars, the fortified cereals, fortified for vitamins. Fortified
actually means synthetic.
Yeah.
That's what fortified is. And it's for the shelf life.
Yeah. Yeah. Sugars in most foods, the preservatives, the benzoates, the colorants, the glycophytes, another story, another talk. But glycophytes, if you haven't heard that word yet, look it up. But it's becoming something.
Look at Zach Bush, MD.
Yeah,
you'll find a lot of information.
Sadly, glycophytes have made their way into all our foods, and as you said, even into breast milk.
We found it in breast milk.
And it's related to the sprays on crops. And I've gone thinking Roundup. So
we're not allowed to say that. Oh well. Okay, well here we go.
Point being, you need to label read. It is something that is really crucial. And again, it's not saying go check out absolutely everything. It's just saying, where can I make gentle swaps in our food chain? So you really can. There are actually so many options. It doesn't have to be expensive.
So you know what rule I like, which I'd like to bring in here, which I teach when I teach my pregnant couples, is I say to them, well, 3 things. First of all, can your great-grandmother recognize what's on your plate?
Yeah.
Okay, because if she can't, then you shouldn't be eating it. Choose differently. The second thing is, can it rot?
Yeah.
So if it can rot, it means that
It's alive.
it's alive and it's going to decompose in your system.
Yeah.
Can you replicate it?
Yeah.
And if you can replicate it in your kitchen, then chances are you can eat it.
Exactly.
And so if I'm not going to mention any brand of cookies, but say whatever favorite brand of cookies, in 3 years' time, if you see that cookie, it'll probably look exactly the same.
Yeah.
So that's what you want to think of.
So I want to link now, going back to our oils, why we partner with them and why we work with doTERRA. Because my other thing is to find where my food is coming from.
Yes.
As much as possible, and being realistic.
Yes.
Okay, we can't always know where it comes from.
Yeah.
But we want to know if we are eating meat, we want to know what those animals are eating.
Absolutely.
Right? We want to know if they come from an area where whatever. I think you know what I'm getting at.
Yes.
But we want to know how that vegetable is grown as best as possible, or that's why I am completely passionate and aligned with this company, because of where they source their plants and how they farm and the well-being of the people.
Yes.
I want my chicken to be brought up by a happy farmer.
Exactly.
And being in the sun.
Exactly.
And being paid well.
Yes.
Because it's an energy creator.
Absolutely.
And it's ethical, and it's important what we put in our bodies. So just so that it's important to know, if you don't know where the oils are sourced from and how they support small farmers and not gigantic man-made farms, just so because they can bring in tons load of lavender. No, they support lots of little farms farmers who grow lavender. They support the farmer, they support the community, and they're tested. So we know what's in our oils.
And they pay them within 24 hours. I love that.
Exactly.
And that's why,
and so should my chicken farmer be
absolutely
treated like that.
Yeah. And, when I studied aromatherapy, I qualified in 1995. So I know oils really well, for those who don't know my story, but that's in other talks and whatever. But that's why I chose to partner with doTERRA, because they support farmers and because they are grown exactly where they are indigenous.
Exactly.
So
that's the power of the plant.
Exactly. We can grow lavender in our garden. Yeah. But no, we want to get it from France and Bulgaria, because that is where it is the most, not only easiest to grow, but most therapeutic. So the
healing.
You're getting the healing benefits from it, which is what we want. Yeah.
And I'll go back to my chicken.
Yes, go back to
chicken. I don't want my
sorry.
chicken to come from Brazil.
No.
I want my chicken to be a South African chicken and to be indigenously grown, hopefully.
Yes.
So I think you're getting the link between food value systems and what we put in our body is really important. And it can be done, and it is possible. Sometimes we just have to work a little harder finding the options when it comes to food, but that's doable.
Yes, definitely.
So ingredients, label reading, massive toxic load, hidden stuff, super important. And then obviously our detergents in our kitchen. Yeah. Those can be replaced. And the smells, that is a big one, because a lot of people are very attached to how their kitchens must smell, or their bathrooms must smell, or the floors. So that's where we would add our oil to our homemade bicarb vinegar concoction.
Yes. And what's really nice is when you've finished, and when the sink is empty and you've cleaned the sink, is you actually just put 1 or 2 drops of oil on the sink, and the whole kitchen smells divine. Because also what I want to bring in here, for those who don't know the oils, is that our smell is our biggest memory sense, our sense that remembers the most. Yeah. And our smell is so important, because people go, oh, but I've got oils and I can, I'll just use those for now, or, I'll use those in the diffuser. Actually, no, because that is going into the nose, into the olfactory system, into the limbic brain, and having an effect in 20 seconds. Yeah. We are having an effect on the body. Yeah. So we really don't want to be using synthetic fragrances. Yeah. because again, you are breathing that in. It's the toxic load is added.
So I think on that point, it's when we go back about what we would like you to leave with.
Yes.
Is an awareness.
Yes.
So tapping into connecting with how you're feeling. So when you're doing something in your kitchen, when you're using a product, when you're spraying something, to stop and go, how do I feel? Like we're jumping to a different room, but if I think of perfume, right? Yes. And I'll use my teenagers as an example and going back to my 80-20 and how do I actually really apply it in life? They're at a stage where perfume is quite important to them. And I'm at a stage where I don't want to smell any perfume because I sneeze, I get itchy eyes, I don't love it, but I have to be realistic in their journey because I don't want to totally put them off absolutely everything. So everything natural that I'm trying to do, they can turn around and go, well, we don't want to use any of it. So I want to make sure that they, 80% of the time, yes, I am creating a foundation of choice for them and they're tuning in most of the time. Can they spray one puff of perfume and walk through it? Can I live with it? Yes. But they will create an awareness as to how that feels for them. Yes, which is as they get older, right? I, of course, just sneezed the whole morning and brought that awareness to them and said, okay, it doesn't actually work for me. You're going to have to do it outside or something. But that's what I'm saying about how do we realistically apply this to our lives when you've got a big family or you've got a baby and a teen or you've got be gentle on yourself and how do we do it? And also as women and as mothers, we've got so many demands on our time, on our attention, on the things we have to do and the responsibility, and to also have some compassion for yourself. Like, actually, I'm only human, like what's the opposite of perfect? Human. That to bring in compassion, and compassion is not only tender acceptance, it also is fierce act. Yes. It's also, no, that is not cool to do that. I mean, someone tries to do something to your child, watch the mama bear come out. Okay, so it's the same thing. We want that, the fierce act, but also the tender acceptance with ourselves, that when we do go out for a cake with our friends who had a birthday and they're like, oh, we're having cake, and your body's like, oh, don't really feel like my body can do it, that then you have it, you are being compassionate and kind to yourself of that. It's okay. It's the 80-20. And again, you're aware of what happens to your body. And I think when we've got small children and big ones and ourselves, when we are using these things in our kitchen and you're spraying something, just be aware of what's happening. And how you're feeling. And how you're feeling. That's like super important. That's like rule number one, actually, because I think we're so desensitized. That we just think it's okay to maybe, I don't know. I think sometimes we think we're the problem. Like, we're too sensitive. We must just, maybe that detergent is just, oh, well, it's giving me an itchy nose, but maybe it's just today. Maybe it's just, I'm having an itchy day, or I've got more hay fever. But again, allergies, eczema is a massive buildup. We cannot ignore what our bodies are trying to tell us, and small children. So what Thea was saying about your paws on your soles of your feet, what are you washing your floors with? Those are important when you've got small children. And it's all very well to wash your bath with a detergent and then have a bath we're going to put our essential oils with our Epsom salts and we're going to detox. But what have you cleaned the bath with? Good. Okay. Yes. So I think we're getting the choices. So let's look at how we're doing for time. Good. Okay. So in the kitchen, and you'll get all of this. It's really nice to have water with vinegar and your essential oils of choice. So nice to use is lemon because it's naturally cleaning. Our On Guard is our immune oil. So it's the oil that we use to support our immune system, which you can take internally, you can put it on the soles of your feet, you can put it in a diffuser. So these are all the ways that we use the oils. And we do have now, which is brilliant, there is an On Guard cleaner concentrate. So this lasts a long time and you can do all sorts of things. Hand wash. And the hand wash is nice. I like to clean my veggies with this. So I do, look at how it foams. How nice is that? It's foamy and it lasts long, guys. The cleaner concentrate, the hand wash concentrate, the big bottle, it's amazing.
Lasts me 6 months.
It's amazing. And I use it to
three
clean the
rooms.
apples.
Yeah.
I use it.
Yes.
I mean, I use it pretty much for everything. I use it to take out stains.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it doesn't.
And the cleaner concentrate
Yeah.
also works well.
Yeah. So the longevity of it goes on forever.
And so when I wash my veggies, I do 2 or 3 drops of lemon in the sink with a couple of pumps of my On Guard hand wash, and I leave it there to soak for 10 minutes. And then I rinse it and let them dry, and then I will pack them away. And you cannot believe the stuff that comes off it, even if it is good, a good place that you're sourcing from. There's still stuff.
And it's also traveled. Our food is traveled, and it's been touched, and it's been
a new thing. And I might be new to this, that I found out the other day. Do you wash your nuts?
No.
Something I discovered the other day. Like, why do we wash our fruit and veg? We don't wash our nuts. I mean, okay, this could look bad.
Yeah.
but yes, white wine vinegar. Just normal white wine vinegar that you get at the shops, Julia. That's it. I mean, some people like apple cider vinegar because there's more benefits, but
so we're going to do a little shopping list on our cheat sheet.
Yeah.
So the shopping list is the bicarb, the white wine vinegar.
Yes.
I don't know. We've got a couple of
basics.
Get
to that now.
Yeah.
And then laundry powder, you can make your own. Which is really a lovely thing. Washing soda, baking powder, and bicarb of soda is actually the same thing. Himalayan salt, and we've got the recipe. And then you can obviously have your choice of oil, which is really lovely. Another thing on my research, which we haven't added, which we will, is apparently you can use Epsom salts as a softener, which doesn't damage your machine.
Okay.
Which is really nice, which I know. And then someone else I was chatting to. I mean, shock and horror, I don't own a dishwasher, but I have a partner who loves washing dishes. So he is my dishwasher, which I'm very blessed to have. But anyway, so I don't have a dishwasher, but she was saying that if you've had a party or people have been, visiting, and now you're packing the dishwasher and you've got lemon that had been in drinks.
You put it in your dishwasher.
And it makes everything sparkly. And I'm like, there goes the lemon again.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
So some of you might know that, but just new to me.
Yeah.
So that's lovely. And then we've got a veggie option of in the sink or like a spray option, like if you wanted to spray them, which is another option.
Yeah. Like on the go. Mum's on the go. I just take my On Guard foam wash and I wash the apples on the go.
Exactly.
If I haven't had time to soak.
And then there's a great oven cleaner. Again, we've given you a spray recipe and to make a paste if you want to make a paste.
Bicarb, Castile soap, and some essential oils. I mean, that's
it. So it's
a very, very simple. There is the commitment would be just to make sure that every month you're filling up your bottles and that would be it. But I mean, you go into the shops anyway to buy stuff. That would be another time.
And so when you go to the shops and you've run out of this, then that's a good opportunity to, I've run out of this, or this is running low. Let me get what I need for this product and see how it works for me in my home. And so we want you to start slowly, 1% chance. Show them the book.
Oh, okay. So this is my game changer on thinking about how hard it is sometimes to change. And sometimes we get so overwhelmed by breaking habits that we don't do it. We don't get there. I speak for myself only here. And I think this book, it's kind of those books that you go back to all the time and you read chapters, but you really understand that being active is what you need to do. One small active change, and then the build up over a couple of months, you suddenly look back and you're like, oh my gosh, I've broken a habit, or I've changed my eating pattern, or whatever it is. I think the biggest thing is it literally takes incremental steps. It's
baby steps, guys.
Baby, because the problem with when we go full, like whatever the terminology, full sweep into things, we run out of steam. And it's actually not sustainable.
It's like you haven't been to the gym for ages and you decide to go and you do an hour and then you can't walk.
So he's got an example there, which is an example we can apply to every aspect of our life, is that he had a guy that went to the gym. He drove there and he was there for 5 minutes and he drove home. And he was like, what is he doing? It was the act of going every single time. And eventually that 5 minutes became 10 minutes, became 20 minutes, And it's the same with how we look at our life and our routine and how we shop. And like it may take time to read a label, right?
Yes.
And you might be like, I have time to read. I've got 2 kids, they're screaming at me. But if you read one label and then you read another label, you're just incrementally changing your habits on how you shop.
Yes, exactly.
That's what it is. Slowing
Good.
down.
So we've got stain remover.
At this point, is there any questions?
Yeah. Any
We've
questions?
talked a lot.
Yeah, we've done lots of
We've
talking.
covered quite a lot. Have we made sense? Is there anything that is like a gray area for you?
I'll
yeah.
post the book of the
Just-
name of the book just now. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I talk?
Yeah. Give us a thought.
Okay, so I've eaten organically for over 50 years. And my issue is that you can wash as much as you like off the fruit and vegetables, but it's all inside. The fruit and veggies are grown with those pesticides.
Yeah.
So while you might be washing the oily residue off citrus fruits and apples and things like that, yeah, that's my issue. I mean, I don't want to put a cat amongst the pigeons, and it's a one at a time thing, but it's really real.
It's very real. And I think that's why, Ruth, when I think for me, the absolute what landed so strongly for me was that we are living in a different age. We are living in a different age of where our planet is, where soil rejuvenation is, where farming is, all of it, right? That's why doTERRA for me is just like an incredible company, because they're doing it at source.
I agree.
They're doing it at source, which is so powerful, which is what we are hoping is going to happen to more farmers with food and livestock, right? So I come back to the point of this is looking at stresses, looking at our own individual bodies and saying, where and how can I eliminate very slowly or make different choices for my body to manage the toxic load? Yeah, we're not going to
just an awareness. I'm not trying to put a spanner in the works. It's just about, you know, I think people mustn't go away and go, I wash my fruit with On Guard and now I'm safe.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, one step at a time, you just got to get cleaner.
Yes.
And I'm the biggest pain to all my friends.
Yeah.
My friends go, don't you ever sit and wonder why you never get invited for a meal? That's not exactly true, but that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah. But that's what we're saying. It's so important to look at every aspect. Every aspect, from the makeup, from the clothes we choose to wear, because if we can reduce it incrementally in every area, little bit, then it will make a difference in reversing that. And when we are still eating food that unfortunately is not what we used to eat 40 years ago, our body will still be able to assimilate what it needs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can I just talk about eggs very quickly, because that's my big hobby horse.
Yeah.
So eggs are a big thing. So people go, the eggs are free range. Free range what? You know, are they in a 2x2 cage on a piece of grass? What is free range? Organic, what is organic? So they can be caged in an A4 space, but they can be given organic food.
Sure.
There are so many permutations to this. So I just want to say out here, Joe's eggs from Jackson's and various other places are clean. We spent years trying to get her to feed them organically, although they were not caged. They were free and well looked after. She now for 2 years has been feeding them organically, so that's good. And Eddie's eggs are great.
Nice.
So those are the only 2 that actually come up to standard.
Yeah. Thanks, Ruth.
Good to know.
Just so everybody can know.
Yes.
Thanks.
Lovely. So the last thing that I'd like to, I mean, not last thing, but one of the things that I'd like to touch on is that another way to reduce our toxic load is the supplements that we use. And to reduce our load, because a lot of the supplements that are out in the market that you buy at the shops, unfortunately, are synthetic. And again, that is having a huge toxic load on our systems. And actually,
it's accumulating.
It's actually making us more unhealthy. And it's so funny. It's like people are like, you want to live longer. It's actually, we are dying longer. We are taking longer to die. We're actually not living longer. So we want to actually live longer. So it's very exciting that soon, very soon, I'm not telling you when, but very soon, doTERRA are bringing out their supplement range. So it's very exciting, because how they have done it is they have again looked at what does a human body need, how do we get that into the human body, and how do we deliver it into the human body. So there's things like digestive enzymes, we've got like there's ginger and peppermints in it, so that our tummies don't get uncomfortable, because I've had supplements where I'm like, oh, they're like a lead in my stomach, you know, like, oh, this doesn't feel nice. So the body is able to actually use it, and they are bioavailable, so our bodies can use them. They're not,
there's no leftovers.
Yeah. And you know, if you think of vitamin C, that's water soluble, so we can't overdose on vitamin C. But we can overdose on vitamin D, because it's fat soluble and sits in the fats. So there's lots, and I mean, we'll do more education around LLV is what it's called, long life vitality, which is the doTERRA supplements that are coming really soon. It's really exciting. And the reason why, and these are empty bottles, guys, I don't have. I wish I had, but I don't. The empty bottles are from 3 years ago, when I was still getting the oils from America, that I was able to use these, and they lasted me 2 months, because that's half the dose. As women, we can take half the dose, depending. And you also want to start slowly. You don't want to do too much, like the incremental little steps. So that's really exciting, and we'll go into more education and detail around that. But I just wanted to give those that are here a little teaser, a little heads up on that. And then, of course, you know, when we look at the toilet and the bathroom, you know, we don't really want to put our essential oils in the toilet, because, you know, they're very special. So we also, I mean, we have got a couple of things of like how to disinfect the toilet brush, natural toilet cleaner, how to block and drain naturally, because that happens. And I've been really successful with that many times in my life. And then a mold spray, which is really nice in case you've got mold. And then
shower sprays, those kinds of things.
Yes.
There's all that residue.
But then Xanthe did a experiment for us. There is a certain cool drink that is quite dark in color. Let's not mention the name. Quite dark in color.
Quite
acidic. And it's not going to leave the planet anytime soon, as much as we'd like it. So tell us what you did.
So you pour it into your toilet and you leave it there.
How much?
No, a can.
A can.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
a can of the stuff. Yeah.
And you can leave it for a minimum of 2 hours, or you can leave it for overnight.
Okay.
And then it literally eats away all the stains and the whatever's around the toilet bowl. And then you flush, and then you can take some bicarb and your toilet brush, and you just brush the toilet, and it's white.
Isn't that amazing? And that's a cheap option.
And that's a cheap option. And that is not like, it's available, so you can use it. So that's what you can use, or you can use what we've suggested. And for the smells, you can put the essential oils. And I think going back to why it's been such a relief to have these doTERRA oils available over the last 3 years for me, because I have honestly done swaps for all the smells in my home. So the smelly candles, I don't buy smelly candles anymore, scented candles, because those are one of the top stresses on our bodies that influence our bodies negatively, because it's going straight into our limbic system. So when we're thinking of Christmas and we're thinking of all of that, so tempting. It's so tempting, because they're beautiful and they're lovely, but it affects everybody in the environment, and they are literally chemicals. So I've just so enjoyed being able to diffuse oils for my teenagers without them kicking up a fuss and knowing what I'm doing and whatever. But they have a diffuser going every night. I have a diffuser in the kitchen. I have a diffuser in my study. And I've replaced the need for, all the scented stuff that we do love as humans. We love things to smell nice, but the knowing that it's therapeutically benefiting me which it really does. So I use a lot of oils with my counseling, and I put my diffuser on and I'm counseling a client and I have my diffuser going, and I noticed an immediate difference in my stress levels, in my clarity, my memory. And it's just so powerful, because if I had something else that was chemically created, to think what that would be doing instead of what the oils are doing. So it is very powerful, and hence why I say be aware of how you're feeling, because when you start the swaps and you start tuning in, you really feel the difference. And especially when you have the reverse, if you're in an environment where the scents and the smells and what you're breathing in is really strong, your body
absolutely
tells you, like,
absolutely
really quickly.
Julia says, oh my God, my cycling husband lives on that stuff. But my husband as well, bless him. He also loves the stuff.
So now you can
doesn't
share.
have a lot, but also I've realized, again, bringing in that compassion, bringing in the 80-20, and just lead from the front.
Yeah,
that's all you can do, Julia, is you lead from the front, you do your things, and that's all you can do. And remember, it's his body. He's got a choice over his body of what he does. And you may not like it, same as me, but actually it's his thing. Yeah.
And that's why it's the 80-20, you know, you do what feels right for you. And actually eventually everybody starts doing it or asking. I mean, I've got a husband who's like, he's been on board with me for many of my strange things that I've done in my life. But it took him a little bit of time with the oils until I started making the rollers for his knees, because he's had knee ops. He was an athlete. He was a marathon runner, blah, blah, blah. And I just actually, out of love and compassion, and my intent was not to convince, actually. That was a key. And I think it's the same with teenagers. I'm not there to convince. I'm not there my intent is to love you and to look after you, because that's my love language. So I just made rollers for my husband, and I said, okay, come, we're going to do the knees, and we're going to do when we've been sick, I just do it. And then, funny, when you don't do it, they go, where's that? Why are you not doing my roller? Or why is my diffuser not on? Or so again, you know, it does subliminally start changing the awareness in a home. Actually.
Definitely.
Definitely.
And then another thing with the bedroom, obviously the smells, the diffuser is great. And you can put oils, obviously, for sleep in there. You can, all sorts of things. You can do a room spray, linen spray, of course, naturally, with natural oils.
And mattress.
And then the mattress. So we live on our mattresses, guys. If you sleep for 8 hours, which we're supposed to sleep for 8 hours, we spend 1/3 of our lives in that place.
Yes.
And so a lovely way to clean the mattress is simply bicarbs. So if you've only got cup of bicarbs, if you've only got bicarbs, do bicarbs, sprinkle it on.
You add your lemon. So
if you have oils,
if you've got oils, then you would want to use tea tree, or you want to use a
disinfectant kind of oils.
Put it in your cup, shake it over your mattress, and vacuum it up.
It says here, leave it for 5 to 10 minutes and then vacuum. That's it. Another thing I learned, when you're using the vacuum, you can put a few drops of oil on the filter, and then it's like a diffuser.
That's it. How
cool is that? Yeah. So that's also another nice tip.
I'm just trying to think of, and again, we are detoxing when we sleep.
Yeah.
So it is a very pertinent place to want to actually cleanse.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're shedding skin, it's lovely.
Yeah. All those lovely things. Good. Okay. Anybody else got questions about anything or want to know anything more?
Yeah. Just trying to think of other areas that.
So we'd love questions or input as to what you'd like more of. This is kind of, as we said, one part. And end of next month, we've made a time to do another one again on a Saturday morning, to talk more about low tox living, and we can add more things in. So if you wanted to know more, obviously then we'll probably know more about the supplements, so we can add more about that. But if there's something else you would like to know more about, please do write in the chat, or you're welcome to unmute yourself and chat. But I think we're kind of done.
Yeah, I think we're done. And I think just to reiterate that we're not living in the same times. I think this is my big thing, is that, you know, that whole discussion of, well, we did that, or my parents did that, or we're living. I'm going to put on the cheat sheet a book that and a YouTube video if anybody's interested. And it's a woman who's written a book called A Compromised Generation. And it really does come to that. Like, we are bringing up a different generation. We are in the middle of massive changes environmentally. And so this is a topic that we can talk about forever, but it's very real. Like, the accumulative toxic load on our systems is very, very real. And so, yeah, I hope you just walk away feeling a little bit more motivated, because it's exciting.
And
it's exciting.
And aware.
And aware.
And also to be curious. You know, when we're curious, we can remain open.
Yeah.
When we think, oh, it has to be this way. No, actually, be open.
It's trial and error. It's chatting. It's also such a good conversation point with our children, because they're moving forward very differently to how we did. You know, and we can change the trajectory of a child's life by what we do in our homes. So yeah, I hope it's brought a little bit of different thinking or motivating.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Julia. Sorry.
No,
for that.
Yeah.
The cheat sheets. Yeah, the cheat sheets will be available on the Yum Drops Hub for those that have oils and are on our team. You on the Yum Drops Hub, and if you aren't, let us know. We'll get you hooked up. For those that are new to oils, part of being on our team is we've got an app that we've created, which has got all these kinds of classes, all sorts of information that you can actually learn about the oils, just so that you know. Also, Tersha, who's got essential oil supplies, who's on our team, she's got most of these in coming, like the citric acid is coming soon. Epsom salts, she's got a lot of them.
Like, she supplies 5 kgs of things.
Yeah, and then she's also got there is a little DIY recipe book for cleaning stuff, and then she's got like bottles with beautiful labels, so if you wanted to go that route. And then also to remember, guys, which we didn't touch on, really important that you use glass bottles.
Yes.
You cannot use plastic bottles to put your oils in, because
they
erode. They will eat them away, because they are
potent. And pure.
Yeah.
And no adulterating of the oil.
Thank you, great class. Thanks, guys. Good. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's it.
Yeah. Shout if there's anything before we tune out. But yeah, it's exciting, because we have options.
Exactly. And we've always got choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are very fortunate to have beautiful oils that we can use for everything.
Absolutely.
Clean makeup.
Yeah, that's another one. We'll add it to the cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Another one of my clients who uses the oils, she's a customer. She's got a beautiful place here for those that are in Joburg, where you can actually go and try out all the different clean makeup. She's got all the clean makeup there, and you can she actually does your makeup for you, and what is it that you want, that you can buy it or not. It's totally up to you.
But again, it's another aspect of a massive awareness for women, because we're using it all the time.
Exactly.
So yeah,
good.
I think that's it.
Okay.
So one step at a time.
Baby steps.
Good.
Thanks so much.
Guys. Pleasure. Thanks, Julia.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.